Welcome to the Retail Tea Break. Each week I'll be joined by industry experts, retailers and product creators to decode the myths, share knowledge and give you a better insight into the industry. My aim, as always, is to empower retailers and product creators to reach their potential. So, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax and listen in. My name is Melissa Moore, and this is the Retail Tea Break. I am so excited to be bringing you episode 1, season 1 of the Retail Tea Break. As I said, my name is Melissa Moore, and with over 20 years experience in this industry, I have worked with national and international retail brands in the past. Everything from big box, high volume retail to high-end luxury and absolutely everything in between. I've worked across apparel and home furnishings and gifting to cosmetics wear. I've worked in all sorts of places with all sorts of incredible teams, but the one thing they've all had in common is their passion for customers and their love for retail. My plan this season is to bring together the industry experts, those who come in and touch upon the retail industry to help us grow our businesses, to help us seek and find and secure our customer bases, to ensure that the customers keep coming back. So I will be talking to marketers, to tech experts, people who are bringing the latest and the best advice to you and I to enable us to support the customer to grow our business. I'll be talking to retailers from big retail stores to much smaller legacy brands about their journey. I'll be pulling out nuggets of experience and wisdom that they've gathered along the way. And I'll also be talking to product creators, whether they're at home working off their kitchen table or in a new studio. I'll be talking to them about their journey to help support you. So as I said, I've been in the industry for well over 20 years. And for the last 2 of those years, I've started my own brand, The Retail Advisor. My aim with the Retail Advisor is to empower and enable both retailers and product makers to reach their potential, as I said, and I do that through looking at sales growth and productivity and their experience to enable everyone I work with to boost their customer experience. And over the last 2 years, I've come to realize a few things. With the customer experience, I've realized it's really simple. If you can create an emotional connection with your customer, they're going to keep coming back. And if they keep coming back, you're going to make more money. So if you're looking to boost your sales, or certainly if you're looking to boost your profit, it's your customers you need to go after. So for instance, if you've been on a webinar or you've worked with me over the last 2 years, you'll know I talk about Lee Cockrell a lot. Lee wrote Customer Rules, and one of those rules is rule number 10. Lee talks about being your own Shakespeare. And I love that line because for me, that really sums up what you should be doing for your customers. It's about creating the perfect script, which is what you do on your customer journey. It's you setting that dream, setting that goal, understanding the path that you want your customers to take. Be it that you have a physical retail shop, an online retail shop, or even if you're a product creator. How do you want your customer to touch and feel your product? What's the journey you want them to go on that is the best possible journey to enable them to keep coming back? So when Lee Cockrell says to write your own script, to be your own Shakespeare, you need to be inspired to do just that. Customer experience and the customer journey is something many of you know I am incredibly passionate about. And one of my first guests coming up on season 1 is going to talk to me about just that. We've had an incredible discussion about customer experience in retail and the small little things you can do to enable that experience to be the best possible experience it can. It's never been a more important time as we come off the back of COVID, as people wanting to touch and feel product in a store, for you to be engaged online or on your social media platforms to enable customers to feel an emotional connection. Other guests coming up in season 1 will talk us through the internal and the external customer experience. So I'm talking about the experience that your staff and your team have as internal customers. We all have them. Even if, like me, you work on your own, the people you connect with and the people that you come into contact with on a daily or weekly basis are your internal customers. So they could be other traders, they could be your vendors, they could be your team or your staff. And I'm talking to a phenomenal retailer who really puts internal service at the forefront of everything that she and her business does. She'll also talk to us about the external customer and how that's been really key for her to keep her business going over the last 18 months. COVID, as we know, has decimated the retail sector, both here and abroad. There's been job losses. There have been plenty of businesses going out of business. But there are certain retailers who've really pushed through, not just with the success of their e-commerce platforms and making more and more money and more sales, but those who have come through it in a really positive way with their teams. It'll be these retailers that the customers really remember, those that gave them a really special and personalized experience. And I can guarantee you that these are the shops where customers will keep coming back. And as they keep coming back, they're going to bring their friends and their family, your new customers, with them. I'm also talking to a phenomenal brand in season 1 of the Retail Tea Break, a brand who have tried all sorts of selling techniques since setting up. They've sold with their own little shop. They have sold in pop-up markets. They're selling into some of the biggest retailers in the country right now. And they're also selling on their own e-commerce platform. I'm going to have a chat to them about the ways that selling has changed for them, how comfortable and uncomfortable selling can be sometimes. And I guarantee you they're going to share their story in the most authentic way. As we move towards Christmas and that crazy, silly season, the one which you, if you're a product maker or even if you're a retailer, takes more money than the rest of the year combined. Research tells us that that 6-week run up to Christmas can be worth as much as 30 or 40% to some businesses. It's phenomenal. So as we get nearer Christmas, I'll be joined by an incredible brand who's going to tell us all about their unboxing experience. They're going to wow us with the idea they've had, and they're going to share with us the insight their customers have had and how successful it's been for them to build and to grow their brand. I'll also be joined by an industry expert who's going to tell us how best to cope with this crazy, silly Christmas season. Like many of you, I'm used to working 7 days a week, 12 or 14-hour days in the run-up to Christmas. And with 100 days to go, it's going to fly in. So I'm going to be joined by someone who is literally going to tell us to take a breath. She's going to give us coping strategies. She's going to tell us that it's okay to step back sometimes in the run-up to Christmas, to grab your cup of tea and go and hide in a corner. It's something many of us don't have time to do, but this former retailer is going to really, really persuade us to do just that, for the sake of our mental and physical health, and for the sake of us pushing through to Christmas Eve. If we're selling, we'll need to step back and learn how to cope and manage the chaos that is the run up to Christmas. I'll also be joined by an expert who's going to answer one of probably my most asked questions. And it's a question that I get asked by both retailers and makers. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with retail, but it impacts what we do with social media, with selling, with marketing. It's not an answer I have, but I guarantee if you tune in a few weeks, she'll be here to give you the answers. I'll also be joined on our journey over the next few months with the Retail Tea Break Season 1 by tech experts. I really want to delve deeper into looking forward. What's coming down the line for big retail? Where's all the money going? And actually, what can smaller retailers or product creators take from this and introduce to their day-to-day customer experience or their e-commerce platforms? I'm really hoping we're going to get some amazing nuggets of information by someone who's worked with some phenomenal global brands. Finally, then, on Season 1, I'm going to be joined by someone who has really impacted me over the last 18 months. And that's nothing to do with COVID, but she's someone that's made me look outside the box. She's made me look at the people around me to help me grow my business. And she's coming on board the Retail Tea Break to share her ideas, her secrets. She's going to decode some myths to help and support you on your journey. Industry experts, the retailers I'm having on, and the product creators, I'm really hoping that you will be able to gain a new insight into the industry. You'll get a greater understanding by the knowledge and the stories that these people are sharing. And I really hope you take a lot from it. In the meantime, between now and when they're coming on, if you have any questions, because I'll be sharing who these people are on my social media pages and in my email subscription send out, please get in touch. And likewise, if you're an industry expert, if you are a retailer or a product creator, and if you'd like to be a guest on the Retail Tea Break, then I'd love to hear from you. Get in touch via DM on my Instagram, or my email address can be found on theretailadvisor.ie. I would love to have a broad range of guests over the next few coming seasons of the Retail Tea Break. And what I'd also love to know is, where are you listening? What are you doing as you listen to the Retail Tea Break? The idea behind it, of course, was knowing that we're all so busy, especially in the run-up to Christmas. I wanted to create a short 25 minute podcast each week to bring you these little nuggets of information. My hope for you is that you might be listening on your tea break or on your lunch break in work. You might be listening as you're driving to work, or maybe if you're sat in a studio gearing up while you're making for Christmas, you'll have me on in the background. So please share where you're listening, share some images, some comments as to when and where you happen to listen to the Retail Tea Break every single week. I'd love to know. I also want to bring you, I suppose, some of the journey I've been on over the last 2 years. So I set up the Retail Advisor about 2 years ago now, and little did I know that 6 months into my journey, COVID would hit. And as I said previously, it's had a phenomenal impact in our industry. But it's also enabled me to talk to more of you. So whether that's through webinars, whether that's through mentoring, or whether that's through the consultancy service I provide, key things have jumped out to me that I'd love to share with you over the next few moments today. And don't worry, This will be the last time for a while that I'll be on here on my own. I promise you, I will have a guest every single week so that you're not just listening to me. But some nuggets of information and something for you to think about today. What does your website look like right now? How easy is it to search for you, for your brand or your retail store? What's the awareness level like for your customers? Have a think about that, because it's really starting to affect the customer experience if they can't find you. If by popping you into Google, a load of other places pop up. And when they do eventually land on your site, what does it look like? I vividly remember back at the beginning of the year, well, it was probably around March time, that I was checking out a website of someone I wanted to buy from. And what do I see on their landing page? But little bits of holly and Christmassy kind of typeface and design in the middle of March. That's a bit odd. So what is your landing site saying to your customers today? Is it clear? Is it obvious, the message that you're trying to send across to them? Are you gearing up to Christmas yet? And if you're not, are you ready for it? Your landing page should be as clear as your product design, as clear as your retail premises. That's what the customer should be seeing. And what concerns me more and more is that landing pages are becoming so confused and over-processed that it's really difficult for the customer to find what they want. And remember, if they don't find what they want, they'll simply walk away. If they can Google your competition and head there, they're much less likely to come back. Once they are on your landing page, the other aspect of the journey for your e-commerce site, for your website, for your customer, is how easy is it to find what they want and order it? How many clicks do they have before they actually find the product they want? How clear is it, the color it might come in, the size it is, the price it is? You'll be shocked to hear just how difficult sometimes it is to find shipping prices, to find a returns policy. All simple little things that should be on your website as clear as day for the customer to see. These are all little things that turn the customer off if they can't find them. How easy is payment on your website today? When's the last time you test bought something on your own website? Was payment easy? Or again, are you popping a barrier into place? It should be so easy to buy from people. It should be a couple of clicks. But more and more websites are becoming confused and are becoming crowded with all these different pop-ups and chat boxes and different ways of payment. So be really clear. And then what happens? I ask this all the time. If I've been good enough to give you my money and buy something from your website, what are you doing for me? How friendly or personalized or led by your brand values is the next bit of communication that you send your customer? What does the email look like? Have you written it yourself, or has it come from a bot that's plugged into the back of your website? The more engaged and natural and authentic you can be with that little email that pops up in the wait periods between ordering and delivery, the more at home your customer's going to feel, the more reassured and valued they will feel. And that's what you want, that real, genuine emotional connection to enable that customer to keep coming back. And then I suppose it leads us on to that delivery, the after sales service. And if it's something that you've not really thought about since last Christmas, when it all went horribly wrong, now is the perfect time to be thinking about the courier service you might have, or the after sales or resolution service that you might need. Sometimes it's a matter of just knowing you have things in place and you may never need them, but doesn't it make you feel better? Aren't you more assured that your customer will be looked after to the very, very last moment? And as I always say, when I'm talking about selling and I'm delivering sales training, or I'm talking to a team of people, always think of that last moment as opening up the relationship. You want to value the emotional connection you have with your customers. It's never about closing a sale. It's never about letting them go away. It's always about keeping them true to you and who you are as a brand. So there's my little nugget for episode 1. Look after the customer experience and your online journey for your customers. Keep an eye on it on a regular basis and ensure that your customers are getting the best possible experience to ensure that they keep coming back to your brand. Because remember, a customer that keeps coming back to you is more likely to spend more every single time. And they're also more likely to tell their friends and family about you. So there's a little nugget for episode 1. Coming up then, as I said, throughout this season of the Retail Tea Break, I've loads of different industry experts. I have lots of different retailers and product creators, and I am so excited to share their knowledge, their views, and their stories with you. So if you've enjoyed today's podcast, please, please, please like it, share it with others, and subscribe to the Retail Tea Break. I'd really appreciate some comments today on how you found it, how creaky my voice has been, or how nervous I sound as I deliver this very, very first podcast. So I'd love to read all your comments. And please, if you will, share your Instagram handle or your Facebook pages. I would love to ensure that I am following and connected to as many of you as possible. So for now, my name is Melissa Moore. This has been the Retail Tea Break, and I will see you next time.